Hey, it's Zach from 718 Motorpool, and today we have a special piece of my collection, this NYPD Streethawk. For those of you who followed my old channel, this light bar should be familiar, but I am redoing this video because the quality was terrible, and now that I'm using an actual editing suite and not my phone, I feel this video deserves a remake. So the NYPD started using Streethawks in 1997 for vans, SUVs, and pretty much anything that wasn't a sedan. They slowly started phasing in vistas for this role around 1999 for SUVs and around 2003 for vans. Larger vehicles still got them up until the mid 2000s. Aside from speccing them out in the least effective way possible, one of the defining things about these bars was the meteor traffic clearing light, which is mounted in the center of the bar and does a figure eight pattern. New York City, prior to the Vision light bar, had a tendency of specking light bars with clear domes and filtering them with red and amber underneath. The Streethawk kind of reflects that, and they generally worked out with most light bars. The Streethawk, not so much. The white lights on these often washed out, and the red and amber lights made these cool in theory, but not really effective in direct sunlight. So let's talk about this particular bar. The original motors in this bar were dated 1996 and 1997, so I feel it's safe to assume that this was one of the first Streethawks to hit the street in 1997. When I first got this bar in 2020, it was in horrible shape. Part of my process of getting a new project light bar is checking the functions, looking at the internals, and when I had it open on my bench, my mom walked into the room and saw it and immediately asked why there was ground zero dust everywhere. A little background information: my mother is a 9/11 survivor and worked across the street from the World Trade Center, and when she went back to her office a few months after the attacks, all the windows were blown out and the office was covered in the same dust that was now in every orifice of my new light bar. I suspect this light bar was originally on a Ford Econoline or a Jeep Cherokee based on the date of the motors, and vans and SUVs tend to survive longer in the NYPD than regular RMPs, so it's very likely that this light bar was still in service in September of 2001. Given the distinctive dust that was found in this light bar as well as the timeline, I feel it's safe to say this light bar was at ground zero at some point during the rescue and recovery operation. That being said, there are no markings on this bar for any vehicle number or anything along those lines, so I really can't say for sure. However, since there are hundreds of people that are still unaccounted for from the World Trade Center, and in theory, the dust that I found in this light bar could contain cremated human remains, I decided to bury the dust I could find out of respect.